In today's video, I want to talk about uncomplicating nervous system support for autistic human beings. Okay, so we hear a lot on the internet about regulating your nervous system and having a dysregulated nervous system. And I don't know about you, but as an autistic person, it just sounds a lot like how I feel every minute of every day because of the fabric, because my hair is tickling me, because there's a popcorn kernel stuck in the back of my tooth, because whatever the neighbors are too loud while they're using a leaf blower 2 blocks over. The construction is driving me nuts. The electricity is too loud, it's windy, and now everything is over, right? You feel me? So nervous system support demystified for autistic people. You already self-soothe to support your nervous system and bring you down from a level 10 to something manageable most of the time. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. You've already intuitively been supporting yourself. You might have been doing this with stim toys, comfort food, special interests, certain activities. If you have a pet, binge watching TV, the way that we regulate our nervous systems as autistic people is slightly different, not wrong, than other people around. Okay. So, what do I mean by that? Sometimes what you actually do need is a big hug, pressure therapy, a weighted blanket, an animal. Sometimes what you do need is to move your body. This can look like spinning, jumping, tapping, bouncing, wiggling, flicking a pen, twirling your hair. A lot of undiscovered or covert autistic people, we fidget a lot. We have a lot of different things that we fidget with. We're the people who get misdiagnosed with a general anxiety disorder because some of the patterns and behaviors that we use to regulate our nervous system, to bring down our anxiety, are things that people do when they're anxious. It's almost as if the human body intuitively knows how to make itself feel better. Then there's things like what society thinks is bad or wrong about behaviors, like picking nail polish, twirling your hair, clicking your mouth, doing a while you're concentrating. A lot of those things are frowned upon. Wearing headphones in a busy environment or on the street or at an event, earplugs. So many things that I were taught was rude to do are things that help me feel better and less like I need to run away. Then I took Trifecta Alchemy certification through Trifecta University with As She Rises. And you can find out more about that down below. I'm not going to spend a lot of time there, but I learned about the nervous system, dorsal vagal response. I learned about vagal nerve theory. I learned about what breathing does to activate or neutralize anxiety in the body. I learned about all of the different energetic meridians in our body and pressure points and breath work and so many things. And I couldn't help but notice that a lot of the symbology in Kundalini and chakra work and all of these other places are used in places you might be familiar with, like the little logo on the toothpaste that says that it's been approved by the Dentist Association. It's a staff with 2 snakes and some wings. And it looks an awful lot like the central nervous system and the vagal nerve, which looks an awful lot like other systems throughout energetic medicine. And it got me thinking, what if I can use principles from energetic medicine and Kundalini yoga to help me manage my stress response, my anxiety, my heart rate, my breathing, whatever it is, while I'm out in public? And I tested it out when my wife and I went to Las Vegas. So I live in Canada. We went to Vegas last year around this time, April last year, to graduate from a program. Our schedule was packed from like 9 a.m. to like 10 p.m., which I don't know about you. That's a lot. And I was like with 10 other people, never mind, in Las Vegas. So we were socializing, doing studenty things, being raw and vulnerable all of the time. I was hot. I was in an unfamiliar environment. None of my safe foods were there. None of my routines were there. And I didn't bring any cannabis with me because it's illegal to fly with cannabis. And I'm from Canada where it's legalized. So to like go places with it, frowned upon. So here I am, completely unmedicated and overtired, overstimulated, feeling gross, day one. And what do? Well, I took a minute in between sessions and I sat down and I put a hand on my heart and I put a hand on my belly and I breathed in the air and I envisioned feeling it going to my throat and filling up my belly. And then I focused on it coming out. And I did that a few times until I felt present in my body. And then I did something from the Kirtan Kriya, which I'll link below so you can find that. But I did something from the Kirtan Kriya. You take your hands and you put them like this and you go through the touch points and you say sound codes of sa, ta, na, ma. Okay. And that will be explained in a video that you can click below. And I just ran through it. I just sat there by myself and I just breathed in slowly, saying the sounds in my head, just breathing slowly. Tears were streaming down my face. Crying is not the enemy, it is your friend. When you release tears from your eyes, there are some chemicals that are released in your brain, hormones, neurotransmitters that make you feel better. So when we struggle against the crying because we don't want anyone to perceive that we're weak, it makes us more dysregulated and more upset. But if we let ourselves cry, it instantly will start to make us feel better if we can remember that what we think about tears projected onto other people seeing us cry is not the truth just because it feels strong. So while it was happening, the facilitator walked by and saw me regulating my nervous system on the break. Well, I'm calm on the outside. I was a little less calm on the inside. And after I finished up, she asked, "Can you do that again? You're like, say no if you don't want to, but can you do that again so that I can film it?" And I was like, "Yeah, okay." So I just did it again. So the facilitator could film it. And she posted it on her social media as an affirmation of what a self-led, self-regulated, autistic, spiritual entrepreneur does when they're getting overwhelmed. And I didn't even realize that at that moment, I had become the embodied version of what I've been learning and what I've been teaching. Because when I was the most stressed and I knew being completely dysregulated and having a meltdown was not an option, instead of putting the meltdown in my pocket for later, I diffused it using tools that I had practiced when I was more neutral for the last 3 years. And I knew that they worked. And you know what? The meltdown never came. We had 2 more days, jam-packed like that. And then Liv and I got to come back on a long, long flight. And things did not go according to plan on the way down there. And they did not go according to plan on the way home. And when we got home, the house was clean because I had hired a housekeeper ahead of time because I knew if I came home to a messy house, I would lose my shit. So it was just perfect and just the way it needed to be. So I want you to find your version of those tools. For some people, it's prayer or meditation. For some people, it's breath work. For some people, it's exercise. For some people, it's coloring mandalas. For some people, it's physical movement, like I did. For some people, it's dancing. For some people, fidget toys work. For some people, like they need a drink of water or a drink of tea or like whatever. But I want you to find your version of something that can help you bring homeostasis back into your body so that you can come to neutral. The idea of nervous system regulation isn't to always have a neutral nervous system, a neutral emotional palette, a neutral response. The point of it is that we spend 90% or more of our life in Western society, especially, living in our heads. We're disconnected from our body, and we're disconnected from our energetics, and we're disconnected from our emotions. When you add the characteristics of autism, where it can be interoception, what's going on with your physical body and your emotions, being able to identify and articulate what you're feeling or where you're feeling it because you process things different. Maybe you have synesthesia and one of your senses happens and experiences another sense at the same time, and everything is different for you. So the goal is to bring you as close to neutral as possible so that you feel in control of your mind, your body, and your decisions. It's less about making sure you're always happy, making sure you're never angry, making sure you never cry in public, and more about it being a choice whenever possible. So if you would like to discuss this more and get more guidance on how to find these tools yourself, just click the link below, the one that says Pocket Coaching, or find me on Instagram in the DMs and we can talk about whether or not I'm the right fit for you. Or I can recommend you to someone who I think would be glorious for what you need, right? Because not everyone is for everyone, but there's always somebody for you, right? Okay, bye for now. I will see you on the next video. I hope you get some sunshine and something that brings you joy today.